The last thing I need is yet another delay pedal. Starting now. The Vapor Trail Deluxe is the deluxe version of the Vapor Trail. That's helpful. The non-deluxe version is very similar to the carbon copy, and this starts out with the same fundamental sound. It's got a solid analog bucket brigade delay with knobs for mix, repeats, and time. Like any good delay, including the carbon copy, it's got modulation to add a little bit of back and forth to those echoes, and listen for what happens once we get the depth past around 10 o'clock. There was recently an article on the Hard Times with the headline, "Guitarist buys $450 pedal to play last 15 seconds of Karma Police." They could have saved a whole lot of money and just bought one of these. Yeah, the modulation and the feedback goes for it. And since this is one of those analog bucket brigade pedals with a digital brain in charge of its timing, it can precisely and dramatically push and pull on those chips. And that all lands on this knob right here. The first four positions here are for tap tempo quantized to quarter note, dotted eighth, eighth, and triplet. So that's really nice to have, but I saw you looking at those 4 other cymbals. You know how the Boss pedals sometimes have that little sticker that you can put on the side like that? This comes with something similar, but it's screened on the side from the factory. Classy. So that little half moon icon is for micro delay mode. That goes all the way up to 300 milliseconds and all the way down to 6. Like 606. And that's quite a range, and it goes very low, but that lets us do slapback, doubling, or we can even use the modulation and mix knobs to try to cook up a chorus or a flanger of sorts. The slapback and doubling stuff sounds great. I was kind of hoping I'd be able to bend things to sound kind of like the Eventide micro pitch, and maybe it is possible, but I've got other pedals for that sort of thing. Let's keep going into pitch sequence. Pitch sequence mode adjusts the playback speed of the repeats to go up or down in pitch. If we look at the manual, it has a couple of patterns we can go between. So here's one of those standard patterns. That is all done by manipulating the clock input of those Bucket Brigade delay chips. We can use these 2 knobs to control the length of the pattern and the length of each step within that pattern. And it can go up, down, skip, but the random patterns are my favorite. They throw a little bit of chaos into the mix, and you can almost hear the Bucket Brigade delay chips just screaming for their lives in there as we really ramp it up. The phrase Chase Bliss-esque gets thrown around a lot these days. I'm also hearing some hologram microcosm dream sequence in there. Next stop, Runaway Mode. Hold down the button and it will eventually start doing runaway feedback. The last mode, Pitch Bender, reminds me of the T-arm and flutter modes on the PS5. Depth sets whether we're bending up or down, and rate sets how quickly we get there. If you're into expression pedal stuff, we can use one of these to morph between two sets of values across these 5 knobs. Not this knob here. It's not something I'll ever use, and I didn't feel like setting up a third camera, but lets you do cool stuff like this. For my cover band alter ego, I really depend on presets. We get 3 of them. Just hold down the left button and then tap on the right to go where we want to go, and then give it a second. And if we want to save or update a preset, we do that by holding down both buttons and then do it again to store it in the intended slot. Seymour Duncan isn't sure whether it's called tails or trails, but we can set whether echoes continue with the pedal turned off by holding down the leftmost button while powering the pedal on. And not for nothing, but consulting the booklet, and this is indeed a booklet, there seems to be some confusion between left and right. Maybe they've written it from the pedal's point of view, stage directions. The middle jack on the top here, that's a wet insert jack. What a name. Basically, it's a place for us to grab the wet delayed signal before it gets mixed back in. And there's a few ways we can use this. An expression pedal to modulate the wet mix, a wet tap to make a stereo mix of sorts, or we can use it to put another pedal into the delay loop. This is something I've been having a lot of fun with on the Caroline Kilobyte 2000, and one of my favorite effects to put in that loop is phaser. It's always nice being able to flavor up our echoes with a preamp or a harmonizer or a tremolo. Maybe the next video will be fun things to stick in your delay pedals effects loop. There is a lot to love here. It's echoes of a lot of other pedals that I really like. Of course, the Kilobyte 2000, Rubberneck, Panther Cub, Micro Pitch, Rose. It's a really nice mix of digital and analog without forcing us into a box either way, but it's not without its frustrations. The right button doesn't do tap tempo in Runaway and pitch bend mode, so it's one or the other. And I use both. Also, the way it does presets, I actually found it kind of clunky and slow when I was playing with the band. I'll tell you what. Get rid of the whole expression pedal thing. Let me plug in a 3-button foot switch, like one of these, so that way I always have preset 1, preset 2, preset 3, or maybe just preset up, preset down, and either Runaway or pitch bend, and then bypass and tap on the pedal itself. Boom. Problem solved. Also, this kind of feels like a nitpick, but I like the option Boss gives us of having 2 lights for preset 2, 3 lights for preset 3. and so on. And that way you can tell at a glance where we are. It can be difficult to tell which preset we're on in tricky lighting conditions here. I believe this was discontinued for a little while, but it is back in stock everywhere. And if you pick it up at zounds.com using my link down in the video description, that helps me out a whole lot. Next pedal probably won't be another Seymour Duncan, unless my offer on that Silver Lake goes through. We shall see. I'll catch you on the next one.